I'm screwing her, you know. Your daughter. Every chance I get. The things I could tell you about the way she tastes. She's quite a girl. Talented.
You're funny. You're a funny, funny man.
I am.
Or should I say boy? You're a boy. You've been coddled and cared for, pampered and hugged. For you, it's always summertime and the living is easy. Daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. You're a brat. You got money in your blood. You are a boy. I'm a man. I have worked for every single thing I have ever received. I have fought and scraped and bled for every inch of ground I walk on. I was the first in my family to go to college. My daughter went to boarding school with the children of kings. I made that happen. You cried yourself to sleep because Daddy hurt your feelings, because Papa banged his secretary, because it hurt to have so much money. You spoiled, entitled, ungrateful little brat. You have everything handed to you on a silver platter and you squander it. You're given the world and you can't appreciate it because you haven't had to work for anything. So now you've decided that the one thing that you want is my daughter, my child, mine, what I made, what I created. You could talk about what a great lay she is to try to get a response from me all you want, but guess what? I am actually, quite literally, above your pay grade, which means that I know that you believe that you are in love with her, as wrong as you may be.
I do love her.
You love that she is a door-marked exit. You love that she is your way out. Because if you are with Olivia Pope, you don't have to fulfill your father's dream of being president. If you are with Olivia, you no longer have to be your father's son. An apple never falls too far from the tree. You are always going to be Senator Grant's disappointing boy, Fitz. She is always going to be the formidable Olivia Pope. Don't use the person that I made to make you into a man. You're a boy.
You don't know anything about me.
Sadly, boy, I know everything about you. You disappoint me as a suitor for my daughter's hand.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is KoolAndMan100X, and welcome to another episode of Shadowtalk. The topic we're going to be talking about today is, are you a boy? Are you a man? The clip that you heard before this segment is Scandal. One of my favorite characters in Scandal, which is the father of Olivia, and he tricking me with that scene, is that a lot of men don't know how to transition from a boy to a man. A lot of teenagers will never understand that transition until they're in that moment. They think everything is still boy tactics and they still play with toys and still live in that fantasy of a kid. But as the age grow about, you understand that life goes on. Time never stops. It actually increases with your age. Now you have to understand that becoming a man is not that hard. It's very simple. It's knowing how to provide. It's knowing how to hunt your prey. Being a man is mostly like, I would say, wolves. It's depending on what type of pack or what type of wolf you are. You never stray away from the pack, but you want to learn from the pack. You want to understand how to become a man. So what do? You go to your father. You start to imitate him. You mirror his sustain of living. You start to do the things that you see your father do. But what about the boys that don't have the father to show them? Like me, for instance. My father was around the time where I transitioned. It made me more intuitive on how to think about being a man. Then my mom, my soon-to-be stepdad, showed me how a man is to be. It took me a lot of time to understand that being a man was not that hard. It was gentle. It was comforting. But I had to know when to be serious and not to be serious. Because in a certain way, it scares certain people that being too aggressive is not sustained in this world. A lot of women are downsizing what aggressive men mean to be when they're trying to make a point. What I want to understand is that being aggressive is more being a man than anything. It's like you taking the manhood away from being a man. But you have to understand aggressiveness comes from our actual nature of transitioning from a boy into a man. A lot of women will never understand what men have to go through their transition. As they say, I need a strong man. I need this type of man. I need this type of man. I don't need a boy. But I always see that the intuition of a woman is to treat them like a boy, to cater them like a boy. Do not let them work. Do not let them go out and find those jobs. You cater to these boys. You want to become man, correct? But it brings a very intuitive thinking that a lot of women don't know men. Now, I understand that older women say, oh, I know a lot about a man. I know what a man thinks. I know what he likes or what he don't likes. But you honestly do not know a man. You do not know how we think. You do not know how we physically account certain things. You do not know what we go through. You do not know how much stuff we can handle. You do not know how much stuff we can take. Because we think logically. We don't really think with emotions as women do. We slow our train of thought down to really analyze certain things that's happening within the image that we see. What we understand is that being a man is more of a leading job than it is a following job. It's the type of man that you want to think of every other day of the week. You have to think what's going to happen the next day. What can I do to provide for my family? What can I do to make myself better? How can I make my son better? How can I make my daughter better? How can I make myself better? How I can become a better man for me? It's so much that goes into thinking of being a man that a lot of boys will never understand, because those men are not around to teach them how to transition from that boy inside them. Now, when I listened to it, I started to think how aggressive he was towards the protagonist and the story that he was saying. You see how aggressiveness calms the man and it makes them listen. That's what boys need. They need that aggressiveness. They need that stern ability in front of them to make them listen. That's what makes the transition more comfortable for them. Anger unleashes emotion, but emotion don't control the anger. Now, scientifically, you can say that emotion will take over your thoughts and make your decision for you, but I don't believe it's true. It makes it more intuitive on how you think of what your next thought would be with your anger. Because as you see, when you get angry and you want to punch someone, what the first thing you do is to punch. Logically, that's what you're thinking as a man. But as a woman, you want to engage your ability to the person, but you never understand where it will come from. But just my couple of thoughts on how to transition from a boy into a man. That's my, couple thoughts, and tell me what you think in the comments below. I'm glad you enjoyed this Shadow Talk. Make sure you go to the Patreon to see more extensive talks there as well. Make sure you pledge if you want to hear more serious talks on more serious topics. I will have more clips like this in the future to show you a little bit more of a deeper thought and a little bit more intuitive meaning on my topics. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit all my links in the description below. Make sure you go to Spreadshirt. Links will be in the description and the end card. Also in the eye in the upper left corner or right. And also check out the playlist. Make sure you buy some of my art and go to my live stream. I hope you enjoy, and thank you for your time.